Hello, Margaret. I'm glad you were able to find me tonight. Hope you're doing well. I hope everybody else is too. Welcome to another Thursday. Tonight, I am using the Spotlight on Nature stamp set. I used it on Monday with the mystery card, and we did it in yellow. So we did this one here. So that was Monday's card. And I figured we'd go a little further and we'd use the same stamp set tonight. But I'm also going to be using, and I'm trying to poke out all the little holes. We're going to be using the dies that coordinate with this set. And they're actually circles, which are really pretty. Where's the other one? So there's a set of circle dies. They fit one inside the other, and they're perfect for other projects too. I love circle dies. You can utilize them in so many different ways. And if I would have thought, I could have used it. I could have used it last night with on Monday night with this card, but I figured I'd introduce them tonight on tonight's cards. And I have to be honest, today was a crazy day. And I did create the cards, but you'll notice I didn't do the insides. So tonight is when we'll do the insides, okay? It's just, it seems like every day there's always something new. All right, so let's start with this one. This one's pretty easy. And it's a little different. I figured I'd try something a little different. So I'm starting out with a piece of cardstock, and this is the Blackberry Bliss. And I'm starting out with a base that is 5¼ by 5½. Okay. And I scored it at 1 inch. So let me just make some room here. Just going to grab my bone folder and I am going to fold that down. All right. So we have a 1 inch piece. Hey V, how are you, honey? All right. So there's our 1 inch. Then I grabbed another piece of the Blackberry Bliss, and this is actually 5½ by 4¼ and this is going to be for the front of the card. And I also grabbed some of the what was it, thoughtful journey, is that what it was? Yes, the thoughtful journey designer series paper, and I cut this 5�3/8 by 4⅛. Okay. And before we assemble the card, I am just going to take one of my corner punch, and I am going to round the right-hand corners on the designer series paper and also on the cardstock. All right, so now we have some nice rounded corners on the right-hand side. Yes, I know, work does get in the way. I'm sure. I'm glad to see you, V. All right, so I'm just going to look. When you end up scoring something, this piece is just going to be a hair larger. So I am just going to glue these together. Sorry, it's getting a little warm in here, so it dries me out. I have to see if I have a drink in here. So we're just going to add some glue. I'm actually going to take that down a little bit. And we're going to adhere this to this front piece, okay? And I'm just going to make sure that it is even on the right-hand side of the card. All right. I don't have to worry too much about this side, but I want it to be perfect on the right-hand side. Hey, Karen. Hi, Casey. Thank you. Gorgeous weather. Oh, our weather. Hold on. I'm just going to trim this down just a smidge. We actually have horrid weather. It looked like it was going to rain all day today because we have the backside of the storm, the hurricane from Florida that's coming up the East Coast. So our weather has been just horrendous. All right. So I did trim it down a little bit because I wanted to fit perfectly on the front of the card. Okay. But before we attach it, we have this 1-inch piece. And I'm just going to pull in my scoreboard. Right? And I'm going to put it up against the side. And you can see I scored it at 1 inch. I'm going to find my 1/2 inch. And I'm going to go to 3/8. And I'm just going to score it down at 3/8. And then I'm going to score it at 5/8. Okay, just to put like a binding type of look on that piece. Next, I'm going to grab some gold ribbon. I'm just going to get it so it is the length that I want it. And grab some glue dots. So I hope everybody's doing good. Like I said, it's just been horrendous. I'm still trying to get my money returned from when someone stole my card. It's just one thing after another. Karma for the last month has been horrible. All right, so what I'm doing is putting this ribbon right in the center, and you probably can't tell, but right in the center of the 2 score lines, okay? And I'm just going to fold that down a little bit better. All right, so there is our binding piece. Yeah, we're under a flood watch right now. Okay, next what I'm gonna do, hey Fran, you have a headache? Oof. I'm just gonna add some glue to this piece. All right, so this is almost like the binding. And I'm gonna take our front cover that we created, and I am going to put it right inside and close it up. I'm just going to make sure that it's glued down. All right. So now we have our card base. Okay. Hey, Jean. Ugh, I hope it stays away from me. I don't want to feel icky. I can't. I don't want to. All right, so the next thing I did was I die cut 2 frames. One with the little, you can see them, little, I don't even know what, flourishes, and then one with just dots and dashes. And I'm just going to take out these little pieces, make sure they're all out. All right, and I am going to grab a scrap piece of paper. And we're going to grab our flower. All right, so we're going to use the big flower, and I have some memento. Aw, thanks, Fran. All right, so let's ink it up, and we're going to stamp this directly on our frame. So I'm just going to get an idea of where I want it and stamp. All right. So nice, easy stamping. And we're just going to take this out. All right. And then I also did already stamp, because I had to fussy cut, the butterfly. All right. So let's just move in a little closer. And I am going to grab my dark and light petunia pink, and also, there's glue on there, my dark bubble bath. All right, so we're going to start with the dark petunia, and I'm just going to add some dark to the underside or the bottom pieces, and I'm just going to flick in some color. All right, I'm going to do it to this one. So we just want to flick in some color. My hand is shaking, so I just went outside the line. I guess I'm thinking about what night was it that I made a disaster of my cards. All right, so we're just adding some dark petunia to the bottom side of the flowers. All right. Then we're going to go to our light petunia, and we're just going to extend this color up, not to the very tip, but we're just going to extend it up on our flowers. And I like to just follow the artist's lines when we color. It just helps it out a little bit, so you know where to add your darker and your mid-tones. All right. And it also, using that second color, will blend out the first. Yeah, these dies for this set are really very pretty. All right, so this is the dark bubble bath, and I'm just going to go from the tip of the flowers and then color down, because I want to again blend that light petunia pop just a little bit. I went outside again. When my hands aren't steady. All right, so we're just getting these flowers. I'm just going to come over to this side here. All right, so there's our flowers. And while that is drying, let's just do our butterfly. And I'm going to use exactly the same colors. With the dark petunia pop, I'm going to do this wing in the back. And then I'm just going to add some darkness to these front sections of the wings. Going to go to light petunia pop, and we're just going to pull it out a little, and then I'm going to go around this section so we can get some color up here, and then we're going to add some here. I'm going to turn it so I can see it. So I'm just adding layers of color and just changing up the sections a little bit. All right. And then we're going to grab that dark bubble bath, and we're going to go from the tip into what we already colored. Like I said, this will help blend out that light petunia pop, because there's more alcohol in this light bubble bath than there is in that light petunia pop. All right, so there's our butterfly. Next, I am going to grab some old olive, and this is the light old olive, and I'm just going to color in the leaves. And we're doing nothing fancy, we're just coloring them with the light old olive. I don't really want to bring too much attention to the stems and the leaves. All right. So we have our image colored. We're going to pull in our larger frame. And this is, I'm using, oh, what do they call it? The basic beige. That's what color this is, basic beige. So we're just going to lay this on that frame. Okay. And then we're going to grab our butterfly. And what I did was right where his body is, I'm just going to fold it over just a little bit. And then I'm going to take my bone folder and just curve it out a little bit. Grab our glue. We're just going to add it to that little body piece. And we're going to just stick it right there on the card. All right. I'm going to grab those embellishments that I used the other night. Remember, I used the pink ones. Tonight we are going, we used the yellow ones, sorry. Tonight I'm going to use the pink ones. I'm just looking to see where it is. So we're just going to grab one of these medium size ones and stick it right there. Let's turn this over. Let's get this out of the way. Let's grab some dimensionals. Add some dimensionals to the back. And grab our card. And we're just going to add this right to the front of the card. All right. So a nice, quick and easy card. Next, we're going to do the inside. Now, I just want to, before I do anything, let's just look here. I want to see if we're going to see that white. And maybe a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut the corners, the right-hand corners, and also the right-hand corners on the inside of the card. So we don't see this beige coming through onto the front of the card. Let's grab that butterfly. And we'll grab the black. And let's put the butterfly up in this corner. And we'll just do a quick color. That's the dark petunia pop. And I didn't actually add enough black ink, so I'm going to remedy that in 1 second. All right, so that's dark. Oops, wrong side. This is the light. I'm going to go around that again. And then the bubble bath. So we have this butterfly on the inside of the card too. All right, so since I messed up and did not add enough of ink, I am going to grab just a regular black marker, and I'm going to color in the body of our butterfly. All right. Now we don't have a sentiment on this card. You can use it for any occasion. This stamp set has a thanks and one that says dear friend. But you could stamp it with a birthday sentiment, an anniversary sentiment, anything that you need it for. And then we're just going to add some glue and pull in our card. And add it to the inside. All right. And there is our first card. Just quick and easy. Thanks, Jean. Thank you very much. All right, so there's that one. Now for this second one, let's see what I did with it. Here it is. Again, we're using the Blackberry Bliss and the basic beige, but we're going to do it a little different. We're going to start with an 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. All right, so that's our card base. Then we are going to, and let me just make sure I have the right one for the front. I'm going to measure this quick because I don't want to make a mistake. So it's 3 7/8. So it's probably this one here. All right, so we have a 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, and a 5 1/4 by 4. These are going to be for the front of the card. All right, but we're going to take our 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, and we're going to grab some Versamark. And I'm just going to clean this stamp quick. As you can see, it's nice and messy. And we're going to emboss the front in gold. So I am going to ink up this stamp. And we're going to just add it right about to the middle. All right. And then we're going to take the leaves that are in this set, and they look like this, and our Versamark. And we're just going to add some leaves to the bottom. So I'll add one there. And we'll grab and put one here. Let's close up our Versamark. And I'm just going to turn this over and grab our embossing powder. Now I ran out of gold. So this is a mixture that I made with gold and what was the other one? Copper, I believe. I'm trying to make rose gold. That's what I was trying to do. So it's not completely gold. So let's just Whoops. All right, I see a little, some spots on here. So I'm just going to rub them out. Just give me a second to heat this up. Hey, Becky. Becky from Kentucky. Welcome, honey. All right, so let me just heat this up. And we want to be careful. We don't want to burn the embossing powder. So you can see by looking at it, it's not really gold. It's gold and copper mixed together. All right. So we've got that. Let me just clean off this table a second because I have embossing powder all over it. All right. And I also, what did I just saw it. Here it is. So ahead of time, I also did another butterfly embossed because I had to fussy cut it. All right. Yes, that's what I was looking for. I was trying to get a rose gold color. So I mixed gold and copper embossing powder, and that's why it's in this little container. It's gold and copper. All right. So for this card, we're going to grab our watercolor, and we're going to do it very simple. I grabbed some Petunia Pop, and I am going to add some water, and I want to color the flowers. So what I'm going to do is start at the base of the flowers and color up. So it's darker down at the base and lighter up at the top. Okay. So we're just going to grab some water, and it's easy to watercolor when it comes to embossing because you don't have to worry about ruining your embossing powder. All right, so we want to just get that darkness down there. And then I'm going to add a little bit more water and then just pull that up to the top of the flower. So it's lighter at the top of the flower and darker at the base. Okay, let's go to this one. We're just going to do the base. Grab some more water. Go to the top. Start at the base. And then go to the top. All right, so we have our flowers. So let's close this up so we don't make a mess. And I'm going to pull out my old olive. Now, before I use the old olive, I'm going to move that out of the way. You want to make sure that you clean your brush if you're going to use the same brush again. All right. If you have a second brush, you can use a second brush. But instead of making a mess of too many things, we're just going to use the same. And again, I'm going to squirt some water, all right, and grab some old olive. And we're just going to color in these leaves. These I'm not being too fussy about. I'm just going to color them in so they have some color. And like I said, this is the easiest way to color your embossed images. Because when it comes to embossing, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but if you use your blends when you color with embossed images, it dulls out the embossing. So it's not as shiny if you color with your blends on embossing powder. So it's just easy to grab a water painter and some of your ink, and you can color right over the embossing without damaging it, because it won't adhere to it. Get that out of the way so I can move this. So just really quick and easy. Just like that. All right. So while that's drying and we don't ruin it, I'm just going to move it over a second, pull in our butterfly, and I'm going to use a couple colors on our butterfly, but I want to clean this. So I have a clean brush. All right. So for our butterfly, I grabbed pumpkin pie, crushed curry, and peach pie. All right. So we're going to start with the peach pie. And again, add a bit of water. And we're just going to pick out some sections to color in. All right. This time I'm not going to really clean my brush too much because they're all pretty much the same colors. Let's grab a little bit of more water on there. All right. So let's grab some. We're just going to add a little color to some of those sections. Grab the pumpkin pie. So we're not being fussy about the butterfly. We're just adding some color. So this is the pumpkin pie. I'm going to make it so that back wing is darker. Okay. And then we're just going to fill in these other sections that I did not do. All right. Just quick and easy. Just added a little bit of color so it has some pretty little areas of different colors. Let's close this up. Let's pull in our card. This time I'm just going to add a little bit of my embossing buddy. All right. And I am going to grab my stamp that says thanks and our Versamark. And we're going to stamp thanks right up here in the corner. I want to make sure it's straight. And it might not be. Let's add some more embossing powder. Just going to grab my scrap piece of paper here. All right, same thing. I pressed too hard, but no worries. We'll just scrape it off, and it came off. And then let's grab that heat gun again and emboss our thanks. Thanks, Margaret. Thanks, Stu. Hey, Kathy. Welcome from Ohio. I'm glad I hope everybody's weather is pretty good. Like I said, ours has just been rainy and just ugly. All right, so here's our front now, okay? We want to glue it to our mat, but before we do that, we're going to grab some ribbon. And as everyone knows, I do not like tying bows and wrapping ribbon, or wrapping ribbon and tying a bow. So I cheat, and I am going to add a glue dot to the ends of my ribbon, all right, and decide where I want it, and then I just wrap it around. And this is perfect to see. You can see here's the gold and here's the embossing. So it does have a little bit of a rosy tint to it. All right. So I wrapped it. Let's grab some glue. Now I can use glue with the beige because it's not as, the beige is a little heavier than the basic white. All right, so let's mat this up. And I might have to just hold it down for a second because the embossing warps your paper a little bit. If you don't heat that gun up before you use it, you have a tendency to have your paper warp. So we're just going to straighten it out, and then let's add some glue. Grab our card, make sure it opens the right way, and add this to the front of the card. All right. So now that that's added, let's cut another length of ribbon. Now I make my bow. It's easier for me to tie a bow and adhere it than it is to wrap and tie a bow. I can never get it right. It's very frustrating. So I just do it in 2 steps. Okay. Let's just trim our ends. Make sure our bow is even. Let's grab that glue dot again. It's a little warm in here, so they're melty. And I'm just going to put it right here. Let's add the bow. All right, so there's our bow. Oh, beautiful. I'm so glad. Like I said, our weather is just, at least it's not stifling hot. I guess that's a plus. All right, so on this butterfly, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just folding it at the body a little bit, and then we're going to add some glue, and I don't want it to squish out, so we're just going to add a bit of glue. Let's add it to our card. So it sticks out a bit. Let's grab our embellishments. This time I'm going to use the small little embellishments. We'll put one there and one by our butterfly. All right. And then for the inside, what shall we do? I think what we'll do is we'll just put some leaves. So let's grab that leaf, ink it up with some Versamark, and we'll put one there. And let's put one here. This time I will not color it. I'll just add it with gold embossing powder. Let's pick this up without ruining it. And again, it looks like I pushed down on my stamp just a little too much. But no worries. I'm just going to scratch it just to loosen it up off the card base, right? Just like that. Tap it, and it's all gone. All right, so let me heat this up. I don't mind the rain either, except I have to take Sheba out for her walks, and I get soggy and I'm wet all day long. If I could stay in, I wouldn't mind. All right, so let's heat this up. Make sure it's all shiny, but you don't want to do it too much because then it burns. You don't want that to burn. All right. Okay, so we're going to mat this piece. So let's grab our matte piece, and this piece for the inside is 5 1/4 by 4. So this is 5 3/8 by 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And I'll have so everybody knows, I will have all the measurements on my blog tomorrow. And this month, I'm trying to think, what did I put? What is our ordering special this month? I forgot to check my banner. It is on the banner in Gal Friday Stamping's group. I forgot what I put down. I want to say mini glue dots, but that might not be right. So check the banner in our group for this month's ordering special. Those that ordered last month, yours should be they should be in the mail. They should be almost to you, actually. All right, so there's the inside. So we have a little bit of an elegant card. And then this card is a little different. And I made it like a book style card, right? But just a little different. So I hope you like tonight's cards. Check out tomorrow's blog. Check the banner for the ordering special this month. Thanks, Jean. And I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your evening. Ooh, it's warm in here. And I'll talk to everybody soon. All right. Thanks for joining me. Be safe out there. And I'll talk to you soon, everybody. Bye-bye.